The Deck Network. Build a deck.
Bam! This is the Deck Network, and I'm your host, Mike Danzilio. And to my right, to the far right is Mr. Met.
The old co-host, you know me, Matt Dalton. Remember, here at the Deck Network, it's all decks all the time.
And in between us is Kevin Florindo from Blue Star Carpentry. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, Kevin is going to tell us about a very important part of the decking business. It's how to hire a contractor. I read a statistic a few years ago that said that 70% of the people who said that they were going to do the deck themselves, build it, go to a place like No Maintenance Decks, and right here,
Farmingdale, New York, the leader in all
they were
things
going to
decking.
build it themselves. Half of those end up hiring somebody to do that. So it may happen. So it's good to know. These are some of the questions, and through the eyes of Matt's going to play the part of the homeowner. Kevin's going to be the contractor, and Kevin's going to say why we would do a contract, because we always remember that contracts are not for the benefit of one party or another. It's for the benefit of both parties. So if you do everything in the contract, have everything written out exactly how it's going to be done, the type of screw, the picture frame, which is a very important part, the fascia boards, all the little details, and that's what makes the deck look great. Because you can have a beautiful deck, and it's just the decking, and yeah, it looks great, but when you get it on the sides, it doesn't look that great. So again, it's all in the details. Kevin, tell us about if we wanted to hire a contractor, and Matt, you're the homeowner.
All right, well, I think the first and foremost is what is the contractor supposed to provide you with, and that's a detailed explanation of what's going on. You as a homeowner should research their licensure in your neighborhood, make sure that they're licensed, insured, and ready to work in that neighborhood. But for instance, if Matt, if you called me and you said, Kevin, I've got a deck to build.
Kevin, I've got a deck to build.
Well, the first thing we would do is take down all your information and set up an appointment. It's always better to come and visit and measure the whole property, scope of the job, get a visual on it in case we see something that, might affect the job. So when we get to that appointment, we'll come over and you'll express to us the ideas that you have, the type of furniture you want, and then it's our job to design you a deck that will fit all of those kinds of furnishings and be built in such a way that it's safe for everyone to enjoy it.
Now, what about, I don't really know much about decks other than being the co-host here, but would you make recommendations?
So, of course, we have brochures, literature. Will come with a variety of samples for you. Based on our phone interview, we can, kind of judge what kind of products you're going to be into.
Based on the needs and
so
things
this would
like
be
that.
a good time to ask the customer, what color is your house? Do you have white trim? Are you going to want to have white or colored railings with this? How high is the deck? These type of things, because you want to get a little bit of information on them, but you also want to show that you know what you're talking about. So that I feel that helps quite a bit.
Absolutely. So
Now, does it always come down to price, or go
So-
with the lowest guy on the block, or is there something more to it?
Certainly, there's different kinds of customers. Some people are going to recognize that a quality product comes with certain costs. So if you're out there getting estimates, some people use a middle guy method where they just get 3 estimates and the guy in the middle must be about right. That's good, but a lot comes into that. Who you feel comfortable with, their proposal, the depth of detail they might go into, or maybe that they helped design the whole deck. It was their vision, and you'd like to see that artist go ahead and translate that into a product for you.
Absolutely.
So what happens when somebody, you give an estimate and somebody calls you back and says, Kevin, I really like you, but this other person was 20% less. What do you tell them then?
In those cases, we try to see if everything's apples to apples. We try to explain the different lines of products. We certainly try to get a second meeting to consult with them again and compare. So we also want to know that it's a respected contractor. Anyone can get an estimate from a guy in a pickup truck that they saw working down the block. They may have their best intentions, but they may not be well versed with these kinds of products. There's a lot to putting a deck together with a product like cap composite decking. So you want someone that's used to working with that product and has a crew that's used to working with that product. That's always going to generate a better outcome.
I've always found that decking is a specialty, and years ago, one of my friends asked me to help him come put together a storm door, and I was helping him, and I said, man, this is kind of difficult. And I found out that the storm door guys just do the storm doors, and the garage door guys just do the garage doors.
And
so
a lot
it's
of
specialties.
contractors are realizing that now because we're, as a part of our clientele, are getting a lot of contractors that are done losing money on jobs or having their guys mess up some boards, and even they are seeking out our services and just giving us their deck so that they have the cost certainty of knowing that it's going to get done professionally and in a reasonable amount of time.
Deck building is a specialty because you can get yourself backed into corners all the time on this type of stuff. You just having an idea, you want to have done it many times. So, you when you go to people's houses, and how long does it take back for you to get your price back to them?
Well, I give them a price on the spot. I measure the whole deck with them, and while they flip through my binder, I do the math and I say, hey, this is what it's going to cost based on the materials you've chosen. I translate that to an email next time I'm in the office, usually within 24 hours, and they have that. I'll call, make sure they got the email. And that's a lot of this game is get that lead while it's hot.
Yep.
A lot of times I find that my process has completely ended and people are still waiting for anyone else to even show up to give an estimate.
Yeah. So you were aggressive and you really wanted to.
And
go.
speaking of
Yeah.
timelines, Kevin, how long from the moment we say yes, we want to move ahead with this deck to the point where I'm enjoying a cold beverage on that
So
deck?
it certainly depends on permitting maybe. You might have to seek out a permit in your town to build certain decks. So that's something that we always will help the customer investigate. But they could certainly call their town and find out themselves and figure out how long the permitting process might take. If permits aren't an issue, for various reasons you may not need a permit. If we can get in right away, the deck usually takes 3 or 4 days, average size decks.
Nice, that's not bad.
So in decking, it's all details, and as I mentioned earlier. So and I think that one of the most important aspects that I see on a nice deck as opposed to a average deck, even though they may use the same material, pay the same price for everything, I think that picture framing around the outside is
indeed.
extremely
Yeah.
important. It probably costs $10, $11, $12 a linear foot.
You hit it on the
Yeah,
head.
it-
Between the material and the installation, we charge $10 a linear foot for additional picture framing. We always include a single picture frame board around the deck. It encapsulates the project. It gives the customer an option of a different colored border to encapsulate and highlight their color. We certainly include that. If some people want a double picture frame, it is exactly $10 a linear foot
Yep.
around the deck,
Yep.
and they've got a double or some
Picture
people want
framing
triple.
on is it just gives you a nice lip. It has a detail that can be done for not a lot of money, but some people don't do it that way.
Yeah.
So
a dock style fascia is the
Yeah,
other way to
yeah.
go, but over time, the first day it's built looks nice, but over time it looks
Yeah.
a little wonky on the side of the frame.
because of
there.
expansion and contraction and just the
Absolutely.
way that the temperature fluctuations
That's
on
what's
all
gonna
that type of
happen on
stuff. Okay, Kev, great job, Matt. Of course.
Of course, I'm here.
Yeah. And,
Kevin at BlueStarCarpentry.com.
by the way, Kevin is a Met fan also, so him and
We're getting ready for the
We
parade.
got the Queen's kids.
for the parade.
Ticket take.
That's it for today's show. You can call Kevin if you have any questions about contracts. You can actually write me at mike@thedecknetwork.com or
Matt at thedecknetwork.com.
Or BlueStarCarpentry.com.
Check it out.
have a great day. Thanks again.
Ciao for now.